Greetings, my dear beloved children. I know that many of you are concerned about where other people will go who are not ready for transition, since they are quite numerous in your environment, with your friends and relatives being among them. Believe me, my dear, everyone is given a chance to move to the fifth dimension with Earth till the very last moment. And since at the final stage of transition human conscience will start changing, not just quickly but by leaps and bounds, so really a lot of people will manage to revive. And only the youngest souls who are to travel the long road of reincarnations in the third dimension worlds will leave Earth with reptiloids and other low vibration creatures embodied as humans. And as it has already been mentioned in my messages a lot of times, you should not artificially urge those who are not ready yet. Still, on the other hand, you should attentively watch psychic condition of the people in your environment, since the changes in their conscience take place unevenly. Someone can revive almost instantaneously if, for example, they come across the information supplying clear and comprehensive answers to the acute questions. It can be the missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle, and then the reality around them will show in quite a new light. It is exactly what is happening to many people now, in whose eyes myths are discredited and authority is dethroned, and the true essence of those who used to be trusted and believed in becomes apparent. As a rule, this is what becomes the first thrust on their way to realize themselves as an independent personality and to gain the feeling of responsibility for themselves and their close people. They start realizing the degree of elusiveness and falsity of the world they have been living in for so many years and begin to look for the way out of this illusion. And it is at this stage of human revival when it is essential to support them and let them know the whole set of true information, providing them with facts and evidence of what is really going on and what is contrary to the things they learn from the official mass media. But it should be done in a very gentle, careful and metered way, since not all the people are ready to hear all the truth at a time. Otherwise, you can simply scare them, losing their trust, and the energy of fear will throws them back in low vibrations. Therefore, my dear, do not rush to tell common people, for example, about aliens or reptiloids and their horrible crimes. Start with ultimately convincing them of the exaggerated danger of coronavirus and fateful effect of vaccination on human conscience and physical condition. And for this you have plenty of facts compiled by the honest and mindful people who have taken the courage to go against the system and communicate the truth to people. This is what the top priority is now: oppose the criminal plans of the world government, which will save a lot of human souls from corruption and will enable them to pull up their conscience to the level allowing them to make transition. Today we will talk about what family relations in the fifth dimension world will be like, and we will start with the point that they will be free, but not in the sense the third dimension world people view them, often changing the so-called partners, but in the sense that they will not be officially confirmed. Since the relationships between man and woman are sacred by nature, they do not require any confirmation or registration by the state. Well, have you ever thought why there is a marriage institution in the third dimension world, and marriages are registered in state organizations or churches? Of course, it conveys sacred meaning, and it is in the fact that high and might must control their congregation in everything, even in private life. Yet, as important here is the material aspect of the issue that in the course of time has turned marriage into a thing bought and sold just like anything else. This is what gave rise to unequal marriages, profitable and unprofitable, imposed and forced ones, when people literally sold themselves and lived their lives with people they not just disliked but often hated, and it was often presented wrapped in a good deed cover or that of gratitude or obedience. Perhaps this is one of the most appalling crimes of reptiloids against humanity, for they have perverted even the pure and natural for humans feeling which love between man and woman is. But let us come back to what relationships between man and woman on the new earth will be like, since in terms of energy in the fifth dimension space the thoughts about separation, comparison, self-interest will be impossible. People will be attracted according to vibrations. Having restored their connection with higher aspects, men and women will listen to their souls that cannot deceive them in choosing their better half. This time not them themselves but their soul will be looking for their beloved, and the space of the new earth itself will promote this process, creating reality the way they could meet each other as soon as possible. It resembles the case when getting tuned into one and the same wave and finding themselves in the same vibration range. People intuitively search the road to each other and on meeting immediately recognize their better half. Such things happen on the earth of the third dimension, too, but it is exceptionally rare, and even if it is the case, man and woman not always succeed in making a family because of many stereotypes and common law. With no such obstacles on the new earth, these couples will be free in their choice, and the family they create will be truly happy and harmonious, and they will need no documents sealing their union, since it will be confirmed by their souls and hearts. Today we will talk about what education will be like on the earth of the fifth dimension. As a matter of fact, the attitude towards education has already started to change, but so far it is a drop in the bucket, since the new system of teaching is maintained by the enthusiasm of the people who know about transition of Earth into the fifth dimension, and about the peculiarity of the children that arrived at Earth during this period with the mission of new society development based on the laws of the universe. It is mainly small private schools attended by the children whose parents are at a rather high level of spiritual development, but gradually such schools will spread all over your planet, because there will appear more and more information about how falsified your main sources of knowledge were, those on history, geography, biology and physics. As long as true knowledge kept in the universe information bank will be revealed to people, the whole system of education will be changing, with the foundation of it being laid by this true information. Yet, the top priority subject of all school curricula will remain the laws of the universe that from now on all the inhabitants of the new earth are to live in accordance with, and so as to put to life such educational programs as soon as possible. There are also required teachers of the new formation whose conscience has already broken free from the metes and bounds of duality, and who can reconsider all the things they were taught themselves, having separated the wheat from the chaff. This is exactly the purpose that a large group of indigo children have come to Earth for, and they have already reached the age when they can become teachers for the crystal children who followed them arriving at Earth. And these children, getting older, are to become the founders of the new society on the Earth of the fifth dimension, since their conscience will be completely purified from the dual life perception, and they will get knowledge from the pure universe source. Many of them will get such channel of information receipt opened, and in new schools telepathic communication will be taught as a separate subject, while pure and ancient souls in permanent contact with the higher powers of the universe will be working children. Yet, already now, my dear, it is essential to look closely at your children, grandchildren and their friends, so as to feel these children's souls, reveal their talents and abilities, and do your best to help them realize them to a full extent in the shortest possible way. It is to identify individual abilities of children that will become another priority in a new education system. It will enable them to choose a profession to their liking later on, and, consequently, live a happy, fulfilling life, which millions of people were deprived of in the third dimension world, whose education and upbringing was a carbon copy aimed at depersonalization of them, because such people are easy to control and impose the lifestyle based on the rules and laws established by reptiloids. The events on Earth will start developing rather quickly, and to facilitate the changes in education to occur as quickly and successfully, it is necessary to start such work already now. And I ask all those who are endowed with pedagogics talent and, which is more important, possess new spiritual knowledge, to set about this exciting occupation as soon as possible, to work out programs for children of the new generation. And of great help to you there can become children fairy tales that hide all the knowledge you need conveyed in an exciting and amusing manner. And you only have to draw a parallel between the sense they feature and the actual reality, and personal examples of children and your own ones, showing the way the eternal and unshakable laws of the universe work, the ones that all the people of the new earth of the fifth dimension are to live in accordance with. Today I would like to continue talking about a new system of education on the earth of the fifth dimension. As long as there appear more and more people capable of getting knowledge right from the universe database, your science will undergo radical changes. Both at school and at universities there will appear subjects unknown for you so far, such as structure of universe, intergalactic relationships, history of Earth and many others. Exact sciences will also change, since they initially followed the wrong direction, being based on the false notions imposed on people. Materialistic approach to these sciences excluded the most important and fundamental factor, which is the presence of energy that any living being consists of, not only on Earth but in the whole universe as well. It is the typical ability of people in the early days of humanity to control energy that was the most dangerous thing for reptiloids who seized power on your planet. Being unable to exist in the energies of high vibrations, They preferred to conceal the very fact of energy existence from people, though they themselves have used it for millennia, more and more imbibing Earth with low vibration energies typical of them, thereby reducing humans' level till their own and instilling into their conscience the programs they need. Thus, the lack of the energy component in all the branches of knowledge has misled your science, showing people the way further and further away from the truth. And so as to fill in this gap, the new education and upbringing system will get the foundation, first of all, of the fundamental knowledge about the structure of the universe and energies it consists of. Right now being influenced by the high vibration energies arriving at Earth, upper chakras of many people get activated, and they start making use of not only their physical sense organs but of subtle ones as well. So, gradually people will return to their initial condition of human gods capable of controlling energy flows to the greater good of themselves, their environment and Earth. As long as your planet is moving into the fifth dimension space, the universe information database will become accessible to a growing number of people on Earth. Therefore, the main aim of education will be to disclose individual abilities of children and supply them with tools for their further development. Just as in the third dimension world, where in order to get more profound knowledge people go to the library or use the internet, on the new Earth of the fifth dimension, two people will be able to visit the universe library according to their choice by power of thought, moving to the section they need for their work. Not wasting any time there, they will immediately be able to receive the required data that have been accumulated by representatives of different civilizations and galaxies. Your new conscience will be able to simultaneously absorb new information, process it, compare facts and make conclusions, not only enriching the sphere of the activity you are working at but also thereby contributing your own experience into the common treasury of the universe knowledge. So far it is hard for you to imagine this, my dear, but believe me, you are awaited by an amazing and exciting life, and it is not far off now. Today I would like to speak about cultural life on New Earth and about culture as such. In the third dimension world, thanks to reptiloids' efforts, everything beautiful featuring the divine origin began to disappear from your life. And it concerned absolutely any sphere: architecture, visual arts, music, theater, literature, language, manner of dress, relationships between people. Genuine culture was everywhere replaced by pseudo-culture, and it was done with the same aim again, to decrease Earth vibrations and those of collective human conscience as much as possible. So now, these artificially created values follow people everywhere. They are showered with them from big board advertisements in cities and towns, TV screens, internet, newspapers and magazines. They penetrate human conscience and like rust corrode it from inside. Everything true and beautiful is replaced by false and ugly, and all this is presented to people as fashionable, modern and cutting edge. Nowadays it has reached its apogee and became apparent even to common people far from refined matters. But it is this way, bringing everything to the point of absurdity, that made it possible to revive humans who have deeply plunged into the third dimension world. Having become assured of their impunity, reptiloids lost the sense of golden mean, and the human enslavement machine designed by them began to backfire on them. And now this process is impossible to stop. During the period of Earth transition into a new dimension, beauty, spirituality and true cultural values will be returning to your life. Instead of ugly and featureless concrete boxes that filled your cities, there will begin to appear wonderful buildings of gentle, smooth and natural forms. Instead of vulgarity and facelessness that modern show business is overwhelmed by, there will begin to appear wonderful musical works imbued with love and light, as well as talented singers communicating true spiritual values to people. New contents will transform theater performances and films, since their authors and actors will be people whose conscience has already broken free from the metes and bounds of third dimensionality, and who will be able to draw inspiration from the divine universe source. The same applies to literature and language in general that has recently been mercilessly mangled and curtailed, which decreased vibrations of people and considerably reduced their level of communication. The world of fashion will change, too. Unisex and stereotyped clothes will be replaced by simple, comfortable clothes highlighting femininity and masculinity, not ruining them as is often the case at present. Everything will be gradually resuming its normal course, coming back to the golden age you once originated from. But already now, my dear, you can make it closer, surrounding yourself with beautiful, spiritual and natural things and getting rid of everything ugly, primitive and artificial. Thereby, you will start creating a new reality on your planet, returning the true culture to it that is typical of pure human souls. Today I would like to start talking about the way your relationships with other civilizations' representatives will be like on the Earth of the fifth dimension. As a matter of fact, The liaison of Earthlings with extraterrestrial civilizations has never ceased, though people were not aware of it, and it is explained by the fact that quite numerous representatives of both human-friendly and human-hostile civilizations embodied as humans, and still more numerous are those who have embodied during recent decades when Earth and her best representatives have been living through the earth-shaking period of transition into a higher dimension. Now the struggle of the dark and the light forces for this wonderful planet has reached its final stage, but it takes place not only at the subtle level but also at the physical one. Well, now I will give you some details on it. In my series of messages on reptiloids, I told you how their collective conscience work and that their main goal is to reduce human vibration, since in high vibrations they are simply unable to exist. Yet, the influence as harmful is produced on people by the Orions embodied as humans. Unlike reptiloids, they possess a more developed chakra system, while astral vision is accessible to many of them. Yet, since they themselves cannot reach the divine level of vibrations typical of humans, they try to implement this by means of people. From the time immemorial they have been creating on Earth a system of attracting people into the mystical ritual system, influencing people by means of hypnosis and various psychotropic preparations, driving them into the altered state of mind. Why do they do this? First of all, because it is only due to artificial decrease of vibrations of a spiritually advanced person that they are able to penetrate into their channel and then control their conscience for their own benefit. So, how do they benefit from this? Generally speaking, the same way as reptiloids, but unlike reptiloids they can move to a more advanced spiritual development level, and the Orions, most advanced in this respect, are striving to gain the divinity of humans. Partially, this is what they are born as humans for. Many of them were shamans, magicians and wizards from incarnation to incarnation, that is, those who can control human conscience by means of certain rituals and potions. And of course, it is not accidental that shamans have become so popular that thousands of people turn to them trying to make spiritual progress, being unaware that they are actually just energy donors for the Orions themselves. Just as reptiloids, the Orions have caste division, with the high caste Orions embodied as humans being aware who they really are, where they come from and what their mission is, while common Orions truly believe they are humans, but under the influence of their collective conscience they unintentionally do everything possible to decrease human vibration frequency. And like reptiloids, they are programmed to choose spouses among pure human souls, using them as more refined food sources, but at the same time reducing their vibrations to the level they can reach themselves. Here we will stop for today. Loving you endlessly. Father Absolute spoke to you.